Hey YouTube, how's it going? It's Drizzle. Sitting here with my cat Toothless, and I got my new Thermaltake Core X5 PC case here. I'm going to go ahead and swap out my old one. I've had the same one for about 3 years. It's Corsair 540, I think is what the model number was. It's a good sized case, but it just uses kind of plastic panels, and it's sort of like I said, it's getting sort of old. It was really nice when I got it, and it's still not in bad condition, but I've moved, around, and I've done a lot of stuff with it, and it's sort of been dinged up a little bit, a couple of scuffs here and there. There's no real scratches or anything, but it just isn't in the kind of condition it used to be, and I wanted to try something different. And like I say, this one will let you can kind of see from the picture, but you can mount your motherboard lays kind of flat on this surface here, this shelf, if the cat would move. And then, yeah, he's got sinus problems. He's been sneezing a lot. I gotta go to the vet tomorrow. Anyways, oh, he's very curious. Anyways, but the video card's gonna be mounted vertically on it that way, which I think will be kind of cool looking. And a lot of this is like a fully modular case, pretty much. So you can take different shoving units out. You can take different mesh off here, mesh off there, mount fans in different places, mount your water cooling in different places. I don't have a custom water loop yet, but I do think I may do one eventually. Right now I'm just like I don't have the extra money for it because I just had to spend a bunch of money getting my deck worked on, so that'll be another thing later. But I may go ahead and do at least a custom loop for my CPU at some point. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my main desktop apart there and clean all the parts pretty good, because it's been a while since I've dusted some of it, and some of it just have been in there for a while. Get them cleaned up, looking nice. Then I'll get this out of the box and start putting it together, and I'll add some clips to the video as I go through that process. So I'll be back in a little bit. Thanks. Alright, so I got the thing torn apart. Quite the pain in the neck. There's my Aorus X399 socket motherboard. I got my Corsair, I think it's an H100 VI or something like that. I don't remember the model number anymore. I don't have the box anymore. That's a pretty decent water cooler. Got that. I got my 32 gigs of Corsair DDR4. I believe it's RGB RAM. I don't remember the exact speed on it. I think it's DDR4 3000. I got my EVGA. Let's see, it's a 1200 watt platinum. I think it's their Supernova series. Got that here fairly recently. I got an NZXT 3.5 inch drive bay fan controller for extra case fans in case I need it, which I probably will. There's all different cables for the power supply. It's fully modular, so you can only hook up if you want, which is nice. Got my Sound Blaster. I think it's a ZX PCI Express audio card. My EVGA GTX 1080 Ti Super Clock Edition, 3TB hard drive. I got my 860 Pro 512 gig. That's my OS drive. I got two SanDisk Ultra that are running RAID. I got a PNY 480 gig SSD. Bunch of fans. I bought a couple new ones too from Best Buy the other day, just in case. I don't know how many are going to come with this, in the box, if it even includes any. And there's some SATA cables. The one thing I may have a problem with is I can't seem to find any more SATA cables around here. I was only using 3 because the other case has actually some built-in drive bays that have SATA cables connected right to the case. Then you just run them to your board, and so you can plug in additional drives right into the case without needing more cables. And I looked in every box around here and I can't find any more. When I moved, who the heck knows where stuff ended up, and so I may not have enough SATA cables. Now luckily, at least for the 3TB drive, I've got an external USB-C dock which seems to function at fast enough transfer rate that it works fine with that, but I still might not have enough for all my SSDs, so I'll probably have to order some more cables. But in the meantime, I think I have enough space on the other drives that I could transfer what's on the PNY to something else, and then I don't have to worry about it so much. It just won't it'll be one less drive in the machine. That's probably alright. The rest of the drives I have are all NVMe drives, so they're right on the motherboard. There's a 960 EVO, there's another 960 EVO under there, and then there's a 950 Pro under there, so I've got several NVMe drives on here. But luckily the processor has 64 PCI Express lanes, so you can do all the NVMe drives you want and 2 video cards and still not have, you know, a problem with PCI Express lanes. With that said, the machine's torn apart. Next thing up is going to be opening the box for the new case. So I'll be right back. And I gotta say, this thing is freaking huge. Like the other case, I think this has got to be a good 25 to 30% larger than the other case I had. The other case is pretty freaking big. This thing is big. It is heavy. I don't know what it weighs, but getting it out of the box was a little bit of a challenge. So I would, the way I did it was I flipped the box over and just kind of let it slide out. But it's, like, physically it's difficult to get your hands down in the box to remove it. So just something to consider when you're going to open it. Like I say, it's going to be a challenge to get it out of the machine, or get it out of the box, sorry. Lots and lots of expansion for video cards and whatnot. There's your I/O shield port. You got room for 2 power supplies, so you can put one in the back so it's not visible, or you can put it up front if you want. Or if you use, there's a little adapter you can buy called Add to PSU, which lets you daisy chain, you know, 2 or more power supplies together. So theoretically, if you want to do 2 supplies in this system, and I do have 2 supplies. I've got my 1200 watt supply, we just like that, and then I also have an older 1300 watt supply that's the same model and everything, except for it's gold certified and not platinum. So I got the newer one, and I thought it was getting old. I thought it was having problems and dying. It turns out there was something else that was wrong, so it wasn't the supply. But so like I have 2, so I could feasibly put both in this system, daisy chain them, and use one just for video cards or something if I wanted to, so you could separate out the load a little bit. But that would just add to the weight and complexity, and it's already very large. You can see it's got the nice tempered glass. They've got big kind of sticker cover sheets on them, so until I want to risk scratching it or whatever, I won't take those off. But you can see inside we've got our motherboard shelf where it's going to sit at. Like I said, that's how the video cards are able to sit in their orientation, vertical orientation, which is kind of cool. You've got a removable rack down here, but you can mount fans and all kinds of things in there. You can mount things on the top, I believe, so you can have your, maybe you can't. It kind of looks like you're supposed to be able to do that, but I don't know. That's something I'll have to figure out as I go on here. Let me see about, looks like these loosen without actually removing. There's just thumb screws. That's cool. That comes right off the top. That's nice. So we've got, see, we've got our different possible layouts for the board. Up front here, we've got room for 3.5-inch drive bays. I'll probably put my fan controller in there if I feel like I need it. I don't know if I will or not. We've got, I don't know, this stuff. I think they've got it twist tied on there, but you've got your USB 3 header on there. So you've got all your power button, all your USB ports up here, 2s and 3s, and you've got headphone jacks, just pretty standard stuff. That's probably a reset button there. But yeah, like I say, you've got room for mounting all sorts of things. Oh yeah, okay. So you can mount. You see, like you got rails here with room for screws and rooms for, you know, however you want to orient your water cooler. So again, like my water cooler sitting over there, but that radiator will sit up on top here somewhere if that's how I feel like doing it. Or I've seen some pictures where people had them down here, which looks kind of neat too. I don't know that I'd be able to have any way of setting that up without disconnecting it first from the motherboard, you know, and take it off the processor and everything, and then route it, and then try to connect it back up. That's probably possible, but it might be kind of a pain in the neck to deal with that. You can also see like the screws in here to allow you to move the shelf out and do different things with it, because I have an extended ATX board, and I think to get it to fit on here, there's like a certain way you have to set it up. The other thing that came within the box, aside from the case itself, was there's the manual there, which hopefully it goes over how to do things to a certain degree. And then I don't know what this is for, but that was in the top of the box, sitting in the styrofoam, wrapped up. It was taped to it, so I don't know what it's for. It's, who knows? I'm sure that's probably in the instruction book as well. But I kind of got my work cut out for me here, guys. But look, you can see there's all these different screw points. You can move this, move it, move it, move it, depending on how wide your radiator is. You know, if you have, for example, like a 240 millimeter versus a 120, or if you have a 280 millimeter, they make all kinds of different sizes of radiator. So depending on what you have, this allows you to customize the case to suit your needs. It's very customizable. I really like it. It's really nice looking. It's just freaking huge. But I've wanted something with tempered glass for a while too. The panels on my previous case, which are sitting here, they're just kind of... Sorry, the video cut out there for a second. My phone is kind of dumb and only allows you to do 5-minute clips recording in 4K, so you have to just keep splicing them together. That's why it cut out there for a second. But like I said, that was sort of cheapy plastic versus this nice tempered glass. With that said, I will go ahead and get started trying to figure out how I want to put everything in here. I'm sure I can play with it all I want, but it'll look pretty nice when I'm done. I'll get started, and then what I'll probably do is maybe about halfway through, or after I get some things set up in there, if anything that I do kind of seems like it requires some explanation, I can go ahead and try to set, make that explanation at that time. But I'll be right back. Alright, so we're making some progress here. I got that water cooler mounted on there. I put the rails kind of sitting over top of the CPU. I could have moved it pretty much anywhere, but it seemed like that was as good a spot as any to have that set up. And the motherboard's mounted, in there successfully. I did find a little box, like down here. They had a hard drive tray mounted in there, and they had a box full of extra screws and stands for the motherboard, and more thumb screws and that kind of stuff. So if you don't have enough screws or enough things to mount all your hardware with, don't worry about it. They include it in the box. I just didn't see it initially. Like I said, they kind of had it hidden in there. Initially, I also thought this was an extended ATX motherboard. Apparently, it's standard ATX, which I mean, with all the features on it, look how many PCI Express slots it has. But it's still, I thought it was bigger than that for some reason. That's alright. So that's a standard board. To do extended ATX, you have to like there's these thumb screws that have to come out here, and you take this plate and you move it over to the right, and you kind of mount it over here instead. They've made it so you have like you can extend the tray out, and then you can put an extended board in there, but I didn't have to do that because it's a standard board. But like I say, we're making progress. I'm going to go ahead and continue working on it here, and I'll pick up here in a little bit. Hey guys, just wanted to do a little update where I'm at now. I've got my board in there as I showed. I've got like the power switch and all that good stuff wired up. I've got the USB 3 header wired. All my power cables are connected to the power supply, so they're all ready to be connected to the video card here, and all the fans and stuff that are on there are hooked up. I'm still going to do some fans down here. I've got, like I say, several over there to choose from. I can set up like 3 of them on there. You can take this thing off using these thumb screws and put your fans on, and then put it back in when you're done. So I've got lots of fan options. Up front, I've replaced the fan that was in there with a bigger 140 millimeter instead of 120. So we got a little bit more going on there. The one in the back I replaced as well with a Noctua 140 millimeter that I had from my previous case. So I've got a little extra, pulling cool air in and blowing hot air out. And I got all my drives set up down here. I've got my 860 Pro, and then my 2 Ultras for my array. And the power supply fits in there real nicely. They have this little slide bar down there that you can't see real well, but you can physically remove it for whatever power supply you have in terms of the size, because this is a big supply. But they obviously, you can get smaller ones. There's probably bigger ones too. And you move the little slide bar, and then you take it out, you put it in your supply, and you put it back in, and it just snugly sits underneath the edge of the supply. And then you can put your thumb screws back into place, and it's all measured out for you, so you have you can't put it in the wrong spot. So that's pretty nice. But everything is looking pretty good. This thing, I mean, I would say about this case that I kind of complain about is that the wiring, invariably you're going to see some of it. Like there's no way to have a perfectly hidden cable management system for this. It's just through the front, which is really over here, you're going to see in. And you're going to see some of these wires hanging down. There's just no way to perfectly route them and hide them from the naked eye. But overall, I think it's going to look pretty good. But that's my current update on the situation. I'm going to get this thing finished up here. I just got to put the video card in and those additional fans in my sound card, and then put it back together. I've been at this for quite a while. This has been sort of a pain in the neck. Some of this stuff is physically harder to get wired than really it should be. That I really don't have the right SATA cables. You can see, like if I had the ones with little L-shaped bend, those would have fit a lot easier. But whatever, it is what it is. With that said, I'll be back in a few once this is all done and we can see how it looks when it powers up. So I opened up one of these fans. I just thought I'd mention this real quick, but it's pretty impressive, the stuff they gave you. This was like $15 for this fan. It's a Thermaltake double I don't know what the hell that R Ring 12. It's a white LED, so it's not going to be like super, you know, you can't really get the different colors for this cheap. But anyways, then you get the fan, which has a pretty lengthy cable. It has a cable extension, a Molex connector adapter, excuse me, a Molex adapter to convert it if that's what you need, and then all the mounting hardware. So you've got screws of various kinds to mount it to different, you know, depending on what you're using it for. You can mount it to a water cooler, or you can mount it with to just like standard fan size holes. But just that's very cool. Cool on Thermaltake for 15 bucks. That's a really nice little kit. Just thought people would be interested in that. Be right back. Kitty's here again. All right, here's the final satisfying tearing off of the plastic, the shroud they have over the tempered glass. I've been at this for hours. This is a long-winded process. I don't know if I can get that off there real well or not. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it on there for now. I'm not too worried about it. I got some case badges I'm gonna put in here at some point too. I've got what do I got here? I got an Oris, one that came from my motherboard I forgot all about, and I got my Threadripper case badge. I'll probably throw that on there just to be cool. I think they're kind of neat looking. But for now, what I'm gonna do is plug this thing in, fire it up, and see if I forgot something. So that'll be interesting. Alrighty, I think I got everything hooked up correctly. There's only one way to find out if it's gonna work, quote unquote. Oh, that's nice. Just in terms of how it looks. For some reason one of the fans is not coming on. So that's gonna be something to look into. I don't know what's up with that. That fan isn't coming on either. Sort of weird. So that's two fans that don't seem to want to work for some reason, even though I'm pretty sure they're all plugged in correctly. I don't know if I have bad fan headers. I know the fans themselves work in the previous machine, so something might be going on. But I think I had them hooked up to that fan controller before, so I'm not sure what to think. With that said, it does look pretty nice. Even the GPU fans haven't kicked on yet. It's kind of weird. I don't know what to think about that. But suffice to say, it does look pretty good. It's just really, really big and heavy. You can see the card right down through the roof. That's kind of cool. Well, this has been the Thermaltake Core X5. I'll probably take a couple pictures when I'm done and everything's up and running correctly. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions about it, ask them in the comment section. I'll be sure to answer them as soon as I can. Thanks and have a great one. Bye.